back with part three now. So, where did I leave off? Let's see. Um, okay, give an indie or foreign film a shout out. So I said La Dolce Vita. And the other foreign film I want to mention is my favorite Bergman movie. It's called The Shame. Um, it's about this husband and wife who were violinists, and their country gets attacked by another country. It's one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen. It's a really real big downer, but I love it. I think it's Bergman at the top of his form. He's made some other great movies. Cries and Whispers, Seventh Seal, Persona, Virgin Spring. Um, um, uh, yeah. So, but this is that's my personal favorite. And then, so I couldn't split it into foreign or indie. I would like to show some indies too. And I have both of these in my collection, but I only have one of them here. The other one's in storage. So the first one is Sideways. And it's a funny movie. And it's a uplifting movie. And it's the acting by Paul Giamatti is just fantastic. And it's sad that he wasn't nominated for Academy Award for that. He should have been at least nominated, but there's snubs every year, But that was he should have gotten a nomination, I think. I don't drink, but I don't think that matters really. It's just he's just this very down guy, but his friend Thomas Hayden Church is like always seeing the silver cloud, So yeah, that's a good movie. And the other one I want to recommend is Little Miss Sunshine, which is about this odd family. They all have these hopes and dreams, and certain things befall them, and they have they all have their own personal problems. But even though there's tragic elements in it, it does it goes to a point where screw it, we're gonna be a family that doesn't let things get us down, and do our thing, and um, get to the Little Miss Sunshine pageant, and on the way, also you know help help each other out, and boost people's esteem, like Greg Kinnear with the self motivation kind of thing that he's doing, and what's his name? Oh, Steve Carell, trying to come to terms with who he is, um, and then Paul Dano, he's reading Nietzsche, and he's silent, and even though certain things befall them. Oh, and Alan Arkin, he takes drugs, and he's a senior citizen, but he's a grandpa, and he's very optimistic. And then he had the little girl, and she wants to, go to the pageant. She's not the most attractive woman, but she doesn't let that get to. Well, not a woman. What am I talking about? A girl, but she doesn't let that get to her. So, it's just these people that let nothing get in their way, no matter who they are. And so I like that. So, okay. So, anyways, I don't know if I really um, articulated that well. I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. So, oops, got decaf, a movie that disappointed you. And I forgot that on the list here, but then after, stopping the computer and turning back on in between, I could say the Star Wars prequels. I thought they were pretty bad, but I think I'll choose Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because that's just absolutely stupid movie. Just the accent of the Russian accent of Kate Blanchett and the video game-ish kind of quality with Shia LaBeouf swinging from vine to vine, and the CGI with the um, beetles or whatever in the jungle, and the alien spacecraft lifting up. It's just they should have stopped with Last Crusade. Last Crusade, I was always a little lukewarm on, but maybe I've um, got a little more respect for it over time. So that's decaf. So now we start. Now we go to the perfect blend, a bittersweet mix that seems perfect. And my choice, I like Bicycle Thieves, Dean. That's a good movie. I would choose that too. But to give a little variety, I'll choose another film by another Italian filmmaker, Fellini. I'll choose La Strada because at the end, I mean, it just rips you apart. What happens to Gelsomina. Anthony Quinn at the end of the film that really just rips you apart. And again, I had that in my collection, but again, that's in storage. So let's see. Coffee with Your Sugar, a movie you might love a little too much. That would be the James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me, with Roger Moore, because I remember before I had a DVD player, we had a VCR in my family. So to give you an idea of how much I watched it, I watched the videotape, and I watched it so much that the videotape wore out, and I think it broke, So I had to buy another videotape, and I watched it and watched it and watched it. And then I saw the DVD at a grocery store. I bought it there. And then I bought the James Bond collection, not the one you have, Dean, which is, the whole thing in one box. It's 4 box sets with 5 films in each box set. So it has Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, and what's his name? Pierce Brosnan. So it's a total of 20 movies. So that film I've watched ad infinitum, and there are certain flaws in it. I think looking at it with over time, like when they shoot the gun inside the Laparis, the carrier thing that what's his name, Stromberg owns. Like one of the soldiers, I think of the bad guys, shoots another guy, and maybe there's squibs that go off, but you don't see any blood because it's PG rated, so they kind of sanitize it a little bit. and towards the end of the film, James Bond and the guy that runs the submarine, that's a U.S. military guy, they pop out of the hatch, before the submarine goes down. And you can tell there's a rear projected screen behind them. It looks very, very fake, And of course, my brother noticed with the film that when Stromberg's underwater house lifts up into out of the sea, that the droplets of water are not convincing. They're like too small or too big or something. Now with CGI we can fix that, but back in those days they didn't. So that's like one of the flaws, or at the end with the water going over the Stromberg's place. It goes over one of the helicopter bubbles, where there's a helicopter liftoff thing, and it looks like a toy. It doesn't look very convincing. But I love that film. I watched it several times. And so the last one for your challenge Friends Don't Let Friends Have Starbucks, a movie you tell others to avoid. um, there must be a fair amount. I'm racking my brain trying to think of some, but I just couldn't off the top of my head, you know. But I did think of one. It was the Best Picture winner one year, and it's kind of a shame. Um, and that's Crash, Sandra Bullock, and I think Don Cheadle's in it. And I don't remember who else was in it, but that was a horrible movie because it was like too on the nose with issues of racism and bigotry and all. Um, that was just a horrible movie. But that year, like the big thing was Brokeback Mountain, which I have not seen. I own it, but I haven't watched it, and probably that's was the real winner and the real quality thing. But maybe as contentious would be the right word, because of the subject matter of Brokeback Mountain. The controversial nature. They awarded it a Crash. Um, not. There's another movie called Crash, directed by David Cronenberg, which is pretty interesting. People getting a fetish for. They're attracted to car accidents and like having sex in cars or whatever, but that's not to be confused with Crash, the Best Picture winner. So anyways, there's my list, Dean, and yeah, and last thing I'll mention, there's a guy on here. He hasn't posted really. I don't think he's posted a lot of videos, but I mentioned his channel name because there's coffee in it. It's called Coffee and Film or Film and Coffee. I forget which. I subscribe to him, but I don't think he's put a lot of videos on. But he likes coffee and he likes movies. So anyways, I think it's Film and Coffee. I think that's the title of his channel. So. Anyways, thank you, Dean. I appreciate you asking me these questions, and I'll try and release a regular video, like a review or whatever, as soon as I possibly can. I've been starting to watch the third season of Mad Men right now that I borrowed from the library, so I'm in the midst of that, sort of. So, anyways, thanks a lot, and this is Kubrick Lover 1972 signing off, and this conversation can serve no further purpose. Goodbye.